Here are 5 of my favorite whiskeys from 5 major US distilleries. What's up, everybody? It's Ty the Bourbon Guy, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to jump right back into it. Number 5. Which way should we go? Let's go. We'll go 1 through 5. No particular order for these. Starting with Heaven Hill. My first one is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I don't really think there's much to be said about this one. The first time I ever had Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I was absolutely blown away. I actually turned right back around, went back to the store and bought more. Can't remember exactly which batch that was. I was blown away, and ever since then, I've just been a fan. A lot of people think that this varies batch to batch, and it does, especially now with the differences in age and all of that. But overall, I still tell people this is a fantastic bottle. It's a fantastic whiskey. Don't get so caught up in all the age stuff and all the proof stuff. And, you know, I get it. But overall, still a great bottle and definitely still one of my favorites. All right, moving to number 2 out of Maker's Mark Distillery, which is, we're already kind of limited. Maker's only makes really Makers, but there's different variations of Maker's. Maker's 46 Cask Strength. This one is another one that I just feel like maybe because it's just readily available that people overlook this. Now, this is the OG bottle. This is my favorite bottle. I wish they would go back to this. But this is one with that price point, with the availability. It's just one that I feel like can absolutely compete with other wheaters that are not as available. And if you're looking for some of those other ones that you can't find, I would grab this every time. There's nothing wrong with this one. All right, next up, let's go over to Wild Turkey. So my favorite Wild Turkey offering is the Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. Now, this one, it's bonus points if you're a store pick. This one is actually a pick that was picked from Wise Guy Lounge, and they picked a fantastic bottle. This one I enjoy actually more than the Russell's 13. When I was kind of looking at these, I was trying to look for what is readily available or somewhat available. Russell's 13 and some of the other ones are very hard to find. So Wild Turkey has a lot of things that are hard to find, but the Russell's Reserve single barrels are fantastic, and there's more and more store picks that are coming up. So I definitely think these are findable. All right, next up, Jim Beam Booker's. You already know that this one's coming. I'm a huge Booker's fan. I get all the negativity. People, you know, I hear all that, the marketing, the price. I get all those things. I hear you. Doesn't matter. Booker's is still my favorite. Booker's is one that I've maybe not always loved. It took me a while to kind of get to that, but I actually was a much bigger fan of Baker's back in the day. A lot of people loved Booker's, and I could just never really get on that train. It clicked once I became a fan of proof, once I could kind of handle proof and pick out different notes out of that. I've been a Booker's fan ever since. And last but not least, let's talk about Barton. And I know what we're probably thinking with the trend that I'm going with all these barrel proofs is 1792 full proof, but that's actually not the case. I'm going to go 1792 bottled and bond. Now, this particular one, for me, I pick it because some of those full proofs do have a lot of flavor, but there's also been full proofs that I've had that are just really, really hot, and I can't really pick out a lot of the flavor that I really want to. And at this being a bottled and bond, meaning that it's going to be 100 proof, at 100 proof, I'm able to pick out a lot of flavor out of this. I don't feel like it's a watered down product. I feel like it still has a lot to bring. I feel like it's still enjoyable as a whiskey, and I can enjoy it a little bit more because it's only 100 proof. This is one that I think is great. An alternative for this one would just be the regular 1792 small batch. If you're in a liquor store and you see that bottle sitting on a shelf, and maybe you haven't tried any 1792 products yet, start there. I mean, start with whatever 1792 you can find. Bottled and bond, I'm starting to see a little bit more of it again. Single barrel, I haven't really seen as much. Full proof, I've seen actually more than any of them. If you come across one of them, bottled and bond. And that does it. Those are my 5 favorite whiskeys from 5 major US distilleries. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for all the support to the channel and support to me, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.